this meeting to order. Welcome to meeting 106 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Public Accounts.
In hybrid format pursuant to the standing orders, members are attending in person in the room and remotely using the Zoom application. A reminder that all comments should be addressed to the Chair. Conformément à l'article 108.3
Pursuant to Standing Order 1083, the committee is resuming its study of Report 1, ArriveCan, referred to the committee on Monday, February 12, 2024.
We have a full house. Thank you all for appearing in person. From the Office of the Auditor General, Karen Hogan, Auditor General of Canada, Andrew Hayes, Deputy Auditor General, and Sami Hanoush, Principal. Nice to see you all again. From the Treasury Board Secretariat, Roche Huppé, nice to see you again. Sir, the Controller General of Canada, Samantha Tattersall, Assistant Controller General, Acquired Services and Assets Sector, Dominique Rochon, Chief Information Officer of Canada, Karen Cahill, Assistant Secretary and Chief Financial Officer, Emilio Franco, Executive Director, Procurement, Material and Communities Directorate. Ms. Hogan and Mr. Huppé, you'll each be given a maximum of 5 minutes for your remarks, after which we'll proceed to rounds of questioning. As is traditional, I'm going to give Ms. Hogan the opening 5-minute statement. Nice to see you again. Over to you, please.
Mr. Chair, thank you for again inviting us to discuss our report on ArriveCan. I would like to acknowledge that this hearing is taking place on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. This audit examined whether the Canada Border Services Agency, the Public Health Agency of Canada, and Public Services and Procurement Canada managed all aspects of the ArriveCan application in a way that delivered value for money. I would like to note that the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat was not examined as part of our audit. The Secretariat is responsible for ensuring that tax dollars are spent wisely and effectively for Canadians. The Treasury Board of Canada has issued policies and directives on program management and contracting to departments and agencies. When it comes to contracting and procurement, Public Services and Procurement Canada has also developed the supply manual. Comme nous l'avons indiqué dans notre rapport, même si le
As we noted in our report, while the Secretariat had put in place some flexibility in the procurement and contracting processes during the pandemic to allow for the desired outcomes to be achieved in a timely manner, it had emphasised that government organisations still needed to exercise due diligence, control spending, and document their decisions to ensure accountability. In our previous appearances before this committee, we have stated that in the case of ArriveCan, we did not find records that clearly showed what was spent, what it was spent on, who did the work, or how and why contracting decisions were made. These records should have existed. Mr. Chairperson, this concludes my opening statement, and we'd be happy to answer any questions from members of the committee. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson and members of the committee, for the invitation to appear before you to discuss Report 1 of the Auditor General on ArriveCan. Before I begin, I would like to point out that I am speaking to you from the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people.
Great job at that, Mr. Chair, so I'm going to skip that. Mr. Chair, Canadians expect the Government of Canada to be well managed. They also expect their government to have the rules and controls in place for the sound management of their tax dollars. Audits like the one performed by the Auditor General of Canada on ArriveCan are important instruments to ensure those expectations continue to be met. The findings of the Auditor General are clear and sobering. Requirements and good management practices were not followed. As the Auditor General has noted several times, the rules were there, but compliance was not. Monsieur le Président, le gouvernement du Canada.
Mr. Chairperson, the Government of Canada has put in place rigorous multi-level controls for public procurement. These rules are enshrined in law, notably the Financial Administration Act, as well as in mandatory Treasury Board policies. Together, they set out clear requirements for the administration of government, which deputy ministers must meet, including those relating to financial management and procurement. In addition, departments and agencies have an audit function to identify and address internal weaknesses in existing controls. We promote compliance with these requirements through training and guidance, such that employees across the government apparatus are aware of their obligations and act accordingly.
I am deeply concerned by the findings of the Auditor General's report. We have taken note of CBSA's response to the recommendations and will be closely monitoring their action to ensure that identified issues and deficiencies are addressed. Again, as the Auditor General has noted, we do not believe that more rules are the answer. Procurement is already complex enough. Rather, this issue serves as a clear reminder that departments and agencies need to ensure that they are placing the utmost importance on ensuring that procurements are fair, open, transparent, and withstand the closest public scrutiny. Parlant de transparence, il est essentiel que les Canadiens et Canadiennes.
On the issue of transparency, it's crucial that Canadians be able to count on transparent, reliable information when it comes to government procurement activities. Unfortunately, recent reports, including those from the Media and the Procurement Ombudsperson's Office, have highlighted problems with the proactive publication of contracts.
I have asked all institutions to confirm the number and value of all contracts they have issued to GC Strategies, Dalian, Coradix, and joint ventures between Dalian and Coradix. All institutions must verify that the information about these contracts posted on the Open Government Portal is complete and accurate. Mr. Chair, information regarding GC Strategies and its previous corporate entity, Corradal Systems, has already been received, and I can confirm that between January 1st, 2011 and February 16, 2024, departments reported that there have been 118 contracts with that supplier totaling $107.7 million. Providing accurate and open information about our contracts is essential to safeguarding the trust that Canadians put in their institutions. We are committed to working with all government organizations to fully meet our transparency obligations. Monsieur le Président, ceci met fin à mon allocution.
Mr. Chairperson, this concludes my speech. My colleagues and I will now be happy to respond to any questions you may have.
And what MLC. Beginning round, Ms. Kusi joining us virtually. You have the floor for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you again to all of our witnesses for being here today. It's very much appreciated. Auditor General, we thank you very much again for this incredible report. So, to review, ArriveCAN is an application that was supposed to cost $80,000, according to a group of individuals who were able to put this application together over a weekend. The number we were working with for a long time was $54 million, not a small sum. But as a result of this report, the Auditor General's report, we determined that ArriveCAN cost a minimum of $59.5 million, $60 million of Canadians' hard-earned taxpayer dollars. And in fact, in her report, as you know, the report stated that this number might in fact even be larger as a result of poor documentation, missing documentation. So Canadians are very well on the hook for ArriveCAN for more than $60 million. So I have a simple forward question for the Comptroller of Canada, Monsieur Huppé. A straight question, a yes or no for Canadians, please. Do you believe that Canadians receive value for money with ArriveCAN? Yes or no, please.
Thank you. Based on the Auditor General's finding, value for money there was no documentation to support the different spend on this, so it was very difficult to understand exactly the value for money at the end of this. So I have to say that I did not audit these contracts, did not audit the work, but I rely on the work of our Auditor General that's pointed out that it was extremely difficult and I don't want to put words in her mouth here, but it was extremely difficult to follow the trace. There was poor financial records. So value for money right now was completely difficult to assess, I would say.
Well, and you're relying upon her words, Monsieur Huppé. She, in fact, did state that she did not believe that Canadians receive value for money. And it sounds from your comments as though you are in alignment with her. Monsieur Rochin, we know the unfortunate fate of your predecessor that still hangs overhead of this committee and this investigation today. I will ask the same question of you on behalf of Canadians. Do you believe that Canadians for $60 million plus received value for money with ArriveCan? Yes or no, please?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. And I'm not going to contradict what Occupé just said. I think the Controller General's answer would be the same that I would give, with the qualification that, of course, it was a complex system that was produced on an emergency basis. We're talking not just the development cost, but the operational costs, the maintenance costs, the upgrade costs. So not exactly an easy thing to determine with regard to value for money, but very troubling what the OAG found with regard to a lack of documentation. And as a result, I would agree with both the AG report and Mr. Huppé in saying that there were some shortcomings with regard to value for money.
No, I very much appreciate that response. And to add to your responses, I will also indicate that the AG did say repeatedly, and as she is in the room today, I'm not afraid to say this, that she also believed that the pandemic, the crisis situation, is not an excuse for Canadians not to receive value for money. And I think that this is a very important lesson going forward. You also mentioned about the testing. It was also determined in the Auditor General's report that many of these tests were not even completed. And of course, when we look back again for the value for money, we think about the testing and the outcomes. This app sent 10,000 Canadians needlessly into quarantine. But as for value for money, it seems as though we have definitely come to the consensus today that there was not value for money. I will press forward then. The Treasury Board mandate is to provide oversight of the government's financial management and spending, as well as oversight on human resources issues and digital transformation issues. So again, Monsieur Huppé, I would like to know, please, was the Treasury Board involved in reviewing the contracts approved for ArriveCan for both the CBSA and the PSPC, please?
No, in this particular case, no, because they were done within the authorities of either CBSA or Public Services and Procurement in this case. So as you understand, there's a delegation of authority. Departments act within their own authorities. If it would have went above these authorities, then the contract would have had to come to Treasury Board ministers. But in this case, it was delivered within the existing authorities of those two departments.
I appreciate your response, but that response is very difficult to believe in the total sum of the $60 million having been, and potentially, even as the Auditor General said, up to $12 million, uncertain as to where it went. And perhaps I would encourage the President of the Treasury Board to evaluate these principles in an effort to determine where this funding really went. In Section 4.17 of the Directive on Management of Procurement, it states that both business owners and contracting authorities are responsible for protecting taxpayer dollars from fraud, corruption, unethical business practices, and collusive behavior, as well as sharing information on wrongdoing, ensuring individuals do not accrue direct benefits, and requiring contractors and subcontractors to be ethical throughout their supply chains. From the Auditor General report, it's obvious that almost all of these
Kusi,
requirements
you're
were
just
repeatedly violated.
Ms. Kusi, you have
Yes.
time for a brief question.
Okay, thank you. Has the Treasury Board followed up with the three departments at all in order to restore the compliance and investigate the systematic nature of this issue? And I will please direct that to Monsieur Franco, the Director of Procurement Material and Communities Directorate. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I I think that there are various investigations underway with regards to the actions that have been identified, both in the Auditor General's report, the Ombudsman's report, and there's a management action plan that has been put in place by those departments.